Alright, in this video I'll show you how to create component properties. There are four types of properties that you can create for a component, which is text, boolean, instance swap, and variance. A good example of the text component property could be, in our example, in the Instagram example, it could be this and also other places where you have text in your component. So let's take this story profile as an example. So we have created this component, right? And we have this component, and to create this Instagram story section, we are using multiple instances in this page, and also in this template we are using multiple instances of this component. I'll just go ahead and say reset all the changes so that it's back to the original. Okay, now for template, it really doesn't matter if it has like the same text in all of these instances, but for the actual page you don't want that, right? You want to show these text more in a more realistic way. So you want to vary these names, but then you can go ahead and click multiple times and then start changing the text here, right? So you can do this, which is fine, but you can do this in more efficient way, and the way to do that is by creating something called component property, text component property, and I'll show you how to do that. To do that, you go to the main component, right? Or let's go, this is the main component, and what you want to do is you want to be able to make changes to this text without having to click multiple times, look through the layers and so on. So to do that, you go to this component and you look for the layer, this text layer, right? And then once you click over there on the this text section over here, you'll find this icon. See, it says, the tooltip says create text property. So you click on that and you give it a name. The name is basically the label that helps you understand what kind of change you can make later on in the properties panel. So let's call this change name, right? Because most probably those are the names of the profile, name of the people who have posted their stories. So change name, I'm going to say create property. Now once you have done that, you will see that there is this new kind of a button that has become available. Now that's all you need to do. Now if you go to the instances of this component, I'll go here, right? So this is an instance of the component where we added the text property, right? When you go there, now if you click on that, you will see that the property that you created, change name, has become available. And now to change the this name of this profile or this instance, you don't have to go to this layer and then make changes there. You can simply click on this instance and then say that, and then the name changes. So it makes your life much easier. It's much cleaner, right? Yeah, so that's the use of text property, component text property. Okay, so for the image, if you want to change the images, what you can do is you can again go back to the main component, right? So let's go back to the main component, and what you need to do is, if you want to be able to just swap these images, right now I think I have only discussed about how you can go to these instances, and then you go to this layer, and then you click on this fill, and then you choose image, and there you can replace the image. That's how I have shown you how to replace these images. There is a way to actually create a instance swap property so that you can simply change these images, but I don't think it is quite useful at this stage, because then you will have tons of image atoms as components here. So right now I really don't recommend doing that. So I'm gonna skip that. Okay. Instead, regarding this instance swap, I'll show you an example that is relevant, that is from this share panel. Okay, so we are going to look into instance swap. We looked at text property, right? And now we are going to look into instance swap. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. So first of all, and then I'm going to show you instance swap property in a component using this example. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create this panel. But I want to be able to swap the instances of these icons to create multiple of these lists. Okay, so I want to create just one of these lists. Sorry. Okay, like so. I want to be able to create one of this, right? And then be able to use this component, right? I want to create one of these lists, list items, create it as a component, and when I use its instances, I want to be able to change these icons and the text. So the text, to change the text, you can simply create the text property, which we just learned how to do that in this component. We'll use the same technique in here as well. The new thing will be swap instance of this icon. Okay. All right, let's get started. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I will bring I'll create this list item. Okay, so I need a star, which is here, and again this star is a component, and I created an instance of that component, right? So I have it here, and now I need some text that says add to favorites, right? Okay, and I will make sure that this is paragraph. Yeah, paragraph or icons is fine. This looks good. Okay, yeah, let me just leave it here, and fill, I want it black. Okay, now I have these two atoms, right? This is an atom, this is a text. So I have these two ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of them and create this as a component. Okay, I will call this list item, and I will also add auto layout. I want the auto layout to be aligned to the left, horizontal, align left centered. Gap between these two items, I want to have the gap between items as 16, and yeah, hog. Right now I don't know if I will need any padding. Okay, just this top and bottom padding, I will change it to 8. Okay, this is what I have, right? This is the component I created, one list item component. This is under molecule because we are using an atom and a text, so this is a molecule, right? So we have one list item, and now we are going to use instances of this component to create this whole list of things. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So to do that, I need an instance of this component. Command C, Command V. So here is one instance, right? So this instance is fine. There is nothing I have to change over here. It's add to favorites. Now I want to create on follow this list item here. Now to be able to use the same component, instance of the same component, I need to create a component property that allows me to change the text and swap this icon, right? This instance of the star component. Okay, to do that, you click on that component, right? And now go to the text which you want to be able to change. So go here, you will see that the same icon is over here too. This is for a very different purpose. It's a boolean property which basically allows you to turn things on and off. We'll look into this as well. So for now, to create the text property, you click on this icon, and I will say change label or change text, whatever you want to say, and default value, I'm just going to say label. So this will also change the value in the instance, so you can update that later. So create property, so this changed because we changed it in the component, right? And the instance also reflects the change that you make in the component. So now if you go to this instance, you will see that there is this change label property added, and for this instance I want it to say add to favorites, right? Okay, now by default we have star, but we also want to be able to change the star if we want to create, let's say, another item, right? Another list item which, let's say, has unfollow. Okay, let me just go ahead and change the text. So in this instance we want to say unfollow. Now I want to be able to change this star icon instance of this star component, icon component, right? But right now we don't have anything that allows us to do that. So what you want to do is you want to go to the component, click on this instance of the star icon, okay, and you go here. You see it says create instance swap property, right? Click over there and say swap instance, okay, and by default this is the star. Okay, the star will be the default value. You can change the default value as well, but let's just keep it as star. So create property. Now you have created the swap instance property for this component. Now what it does is it allows you to change or swap the icon, the star icon, in any of its instances. For example, we want to change the star icon in this list item, right? Instance of this component. We want to be able to change the star. So if you click over here, now not only change label, it also shows swap instance. Right now the default is star by default. Now we want to change it to something else. So these are all the instances we have. I have. So let's see. Unfollow. Do I have a I don't have an icon. Let me go ahead and look it up. Unfollow. No, so there is no follow or unfollow. Okay, I'm going to use this as unfollow icon. Okay, I will bring it here. Now make sure that all these icons are created as a component inside the atoms. Okay, they should be there, and they should be components, otherwise it will not show up in the list, this list. So unfollow, you want to swap the instance, this icon, right? So you click over there, and now here you go. So you can now change the icon. If you haven't added that swap instance property, there is no way you can change this icon. You'll have to create multiple components, which is not very efficient. You will be creating thousands of if let's say you have a very big website, right? You'll be creating so many of these list items. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to use the same component and use its instances and only make few changes to those instances. So what it does is, one, it simplifies the process of creating these list items. Also, it makes things super consistent. Let's say, for example, if you wanted to make some adjustment in terms of the gap between these two items, right? You don't have to go through all the list items. You can simply make those changes to this component. Let's say, for example, I want to change it to 8. Now the change is reflected in all the instances. Okay, so that's the beauty of using components and its properties. Okay, so we have two list items, right? Let's go ahead and add another one. Now we want why you are seeing this post. Why you are seeing this post. Okay, and the icon is this eye. Do I have that icon? Nope. Okay, so let's see, what is that icon? Eye circle. Okay, this is it. All right, let me add it here, create this as a component. Now why you are seeing this post. Now let's go I. Okay, source for I. Yes, there you go. So why you are seeing this post, hide. Right now, let's see, hide, and the icon, I already have the icon there, so go ahead and swap it. And the next one is about this account. So I'm basically copying and pasting the instances that I have created and changing the text and swapping the icons. Okay, and in terms of this icon, I want to swap this one with that. So there you go. Okay, so in this way, now I have all the list items I need. Of course, I need these too, but I will stop right here in terms of creating this share panel. I hope you got the idea of swap instance. Swap instance in a component. So swap instance component property, right? So that's how you do that. Now boolean. Boolean basically is for hiding and showing content in your component. Let's take an example of these buttons, okay? Edit profile, share profile, and this. So these are three buttons. Share and edit profile, they are pretty much the same, but this one is different, right? It's just the icon, and these have text. Now if you want to create these buttons, what you can do is you can use all these component properties. You can use text, instance swap, and boolean properties, all these properties, to create one button component and use its instances where you can change its text, or you can swap icon, and also hide and show certain things in that button. That way you don't have to again create multiple components to use in your design. So let me show you that. So for this, what you want to do is you want to create a button, right? Let me just create a button right here. Okay, it has to be a molecule, but because the reference buttons are here, so I'm gonna make it right here, but later on we can move it to molecules. All right, let's go ahead, edit profile. Right, to create a button, all you need to do is type text. I mean the basic button, right? There may be like different kinds of buttons, but most of the buttons, they have text or icons. So to create a button, you start with a text box, and then you right click, or simply add auto layout first. Okay, and after you have added auto layout, I will add some padding, left and right, and top and bottom. Left and right, I will add 24, okay, and 16. And also, let's see the text. I want to use 24 text. Okay, yeah, this is going to be my button, a standard button. And also, it has some border radius, or yeah, rounded corner. So 8 maybe. I cannot really see the border radius or the corner radius, so I'm going to apply some color. Okay, so I have white button. We can change that color later on, so I'll just rename this to button. Okay, now we want to convert this as a component because we want to use instances of this button. But this button component only has text, meaning if we want to use if we want to use the same button for this icon, for this button that only has icon, but then this component doesn't have any icon, right? We can use its instance just for, this is an instance, we can only use it for this edit profile and share profile, and to do so we can definitely add text properties. So let's first add the text property. So you go here, right, say change label, okay, create. Now here we can say, instead of the label, we can say edit profile, and this is share profile. Now if you want to use the same button component but for this icon button, what you can do is you can add an icon right next to it in this button. Let's bring an instance of an icon. All right, so that is profile plus. Let's see, add profile. Okay, something like that, right? Command C, and here Command V, create a component. Now I'm going to use its instance. So here is the instance. I will simply drop it here, right here. Okay, now we have this button that has text and an icon, right? So just to give it a little bit of spacing, consistent spacing, I'm going to say 16 or maybe 8. 16 is too far, I think. Okay, now you see that the icon is showing up in all the instances, right? Now what we want to do is we want to be able to hide this icon, right, in these two buttons, but then when we create this button, which is this, right? All right. Okay. So by using the same button component, this button component, we want to be able to, create these three different kinds of, or two different kinds of buttons, right? And to do that, we want to be able to hide this icon in these two buttons and hide this text in this button. So to do that, I mean, you can do this even, you can do that without actually creating the boolean property. So you can actually go to this instance, right, and simply turn this thing off, right, this icon off, and it works fine, there is no problem. But what you can do is you can go to this main component, right, and then go to the label, because and apply boolean property. See, if you layer, and this within this layer section, you'll see this icon. Click on that. Show label true. By default it is true, which means by default the label will be on. Right now, if you go to the instance of this component, if you click on that, you will see that show label in addition to the change label, right, where you can change the label of this button. You can also say whether you want to show or turn on and off the show label, right? So you can, if you do not want to show the label, you can simply do that. See, and now you have that button, right? So, and you can also do the same thing with the icon. You can select the icon within the component, okay, not in the instance. So select the icon, and within the layer, don't get confused with icon over this icon here and there. So to create a boolean, you always look for the layer. Boolean property, you always look for the layer, and there you click on this icon, create boolean property, show label. No, we don't want show label, right? We want to say show icon. So create a new property, show icon. By default we want to say false. So by default we don't want to show the icon. Create a property. So you see, by default the icons are gone, which basically is the same thing, right? Going to the layers and then turning things off. It just adds simplicity in terms of user friendliness, in terms of user friendliness of your design. Now if I want to create these three buttons, I will go to these instances, right? And you don't want to show icon here, we don't want to show icon here, but in this we want to show icon and then turn off the label. Now we have these three buttons which uses this single button component, okay? And it's going to be super helpful, later on. Let's say right now, as you can see, the background color of these buttons, they are white right now. If I want to change the color of the background color of these buttons to gray, I don't have to go and change in each individual instances, each individual buttons. I can simply go here and change the background to this, and it's gray, right? I am going to put everything in the molecules here, right? Okay, the button. So that's the button, and these are the instances which I plan to use in the profile screen. So I'm trying to create this. So I am going to wrap all of these in auto layout. Okay. And horizontal, right? Fill container. And 16 pixels left and right. 8 pixels top and bottom. Pixels like so. I think these buttons, they have hug. Okay, but I think the text is too big, so I'm gonna just change it over here. So the label text size is the icon, so I'm gonna say paragraph, and yeah, I think everything else will take care of itself, right? Okay, the icon is slightly big. All right, so 26, 29, I want this slightly smaller, so 24, 20 maybe. Okay, I cannot change it here actually, I have to. Oh, you know what? Padding, I think this is too much. 6, 16. Okay, this should at least fix a little bit. So I can't turn it off. I still, yeah, have this. I need to change the icon size, make the icon size a little bit smaller. So which I can do it by going here. So text, I know I changed it to paragraph, so paragraph, there you go, which means 15, 17. I'm just adjusting the size of the icon. All right. Okay, looks like we are in good shape, right? Yeah, this looks good. Now, also these icons, these two need to be fill container, and I don't know, fill container, no, this is hug, and these two fill container, and I want this to have, let's say, 16 pixels, like so, or maybe less. Okay, this is fine. Maybe 8. All right, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now we learn about text, instance swap, and then boolean. So the next one is variance, and we actually already touched upon variance while we created this heart interaction, but let me just go ahead and do it one more time. So talking about the button, right? Okay, using the text instance and boolean, right? We were able to change the text, we were able to swap the instance, and we were able to turn on and off the layers within the component. Now let's say we wanted to use the same button, right? We wanted to use the same button here, this button component, to create this follow button, which is blue, right? I mean, there is no way you cannot simply create, like if you go there and if you add property, there is no such thing called like color, but what you have is you have this thing called variant. Okay, we'll look into this now. To create variant, right, all you need to do is click on this component. You can either click on that, add a variant, or you can go to properties and variant, okay, and add variant like that. Okay, so when you do that, a duplicate of the component is created within a larger this purple container. So this whole thing is called component set, and within the component set you have default and variant 2. So this is your default button, and you want to create multiple variants of this button, right? In this case, the next variant that we want is this button with background color blue. Okay, so to do that, the default is gray, which is fine with us. The second one, variant 2, for the variant 2, we want its background to be blue. So select the second variant, this variant, right, and change its color from gray to blue. You're done. And if you look at the properties, right, the text, we have created text property, we have created the swap instance property, boolean property. Everything should have been carried, should have been implemented in variant 2 as well, because it's basically a copy of this default button component. Okay, so this is the component set, and the properties that are created for the default is applied to all the variants inside of this component set. So for example, show label, change label, show icon, and the property is, see, you have this one more option that says property 1, default, and variant 2. Now if I want to use this variant, right, this component set, or a different variant of this button, what you want to do is you want to create this section first. Okay, let me create that. To do so, I need an instance of this image, right, profile picture, okay, and then I need some text, and talks about followed by plus 3 or whatever, it's just the text. Okay, so we have that, and right here, right underneath of this text, we want the button, right? Okay, to use that button, you go here, go to assets, right, and button, this is the button, insert instance. Okay, so it'll give you the default instance of that component. So I'm going to use it here, right, and I want all of these in a box, so I will add auto layout. Okay, centered. These centered as well. Everything is centered. Fill by white. And now I need some border radius, 4 pixels maybe. Okay, and some border, stroke, border, right, and some padding. Let's say 16. Oops. 16, and gap between items 8. This needs to be paragraph bold. I'll just leave this as is. Now what we want here, and this image, I need a bigger image. I can actually just change the size of it, so 70 maybe, or 90. Okay, that looks fine. I think this is too much. Okay, and okay, yeah, this looks pretty good to me. Okay. Oh, I forgot this X. Do we have that? No, let me find it. X or close. What? X. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna use alright, I will use X. Okay, yeah, let me just use this one here. Okay. Command V, right, and insert the paragraph. I'm gonna say icon 12, create component. Now I can use its instance. Over here, I want it on the top right, so I'll just use the absolute positioning. Okay, something like that, right? This icon needs gray color, so I'm gonna use the gray color. Oh, sorry. Fill. new color style. I can actually just use the border color style. Okay, let's just go ahead and fill libraries border. Okay, there you go. We have a gray cross or delete there, right? Now, oh, okay, we were trying to use the variant of this button we created, right? This button. So we have this component set and we have two variants now. So if you click on this instance of that variant, right, what you will see is all the properties that we created. This is the boolean, right? Show icon. Do we want that? No. Take that out. Change the label. We want to change the label. What do you want to say? Follow. Do you want to show the label? Yes, of course, right? And property 1, we can rename these as well. I'll show you how. But for now, we have the default button selected, which is by default, the button is gray. So we have variant 2, which is blue. Okay, and that's how you get the blue button, right? And we are doing all of these using one single component set, which is this. The same component set is being used to create these buttons and this button. So it just makes it super easy to manage your assets of your design project. Okay, so a few things I just will fill container this, and I need white text. Okay, so to have the white text, you go to the variant 2, fill background. This also I'll make sure that it has the white text. I'll just leave it as is because we're not really worried about that. Okay, so yeah, there you go. We have this thing here, right? What is discover people? And yeah, so since the same thing is repeating multiple times, I would convert this as a component, right? So discover people, and now this should go to the molecule, right? Or organism, I think a molecule. Okay, and now you want to use an instance of this component over here. Like so, and then add auto layout, horizontal, 8. Okay, looks good. And padding 16. Okay, we'll add this text later. So we have this section ready. Wait, yeah, the spacing is kind of off. Let me take care of that. Go there and simply change this to 8. Okay, there you go. All right, now how do you change the name or the text in this component? You can add text component property in this component, so that in the instances you can change these texts. Okay, so you can do that by going to these layers. So here you go to the text layer and click on there. So change name right? And this is followed by, so create a property, change followed by, now if you go here, right, you can say change the name to YA, yeah, and then die plus k, right? And you can do that to others as well. Okay, and so on. So you can, start creating components and add properties to make things more efficient and more consistent throughout the design. All right. Okay, that's all for today. Okay, see you tomorrow.